وقد نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رد.
Divinely inspired 1400 years ago, the noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam set about implementing several new institutions and promulgating new laws for the transformation of humanity. From the desert sands of Arabia to the far corners of the world, a new social order of social justice was to prevail, where the elimination of poverty was the target. Caring and sharing was embedded in the cultural fabric of society, and pleasing Allah in all our deeds was the purpose of life. One of the institutions that the noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam created was the institution of Waqf or Awqaf.
My dear brothers and sisters, please allow me to remind you that the Waqf institution and the benefits thereof is an integral part of our Islamic responsibilities and duties, inter alia, social upliftment, sustainable development, providing scholarships and aiding the poor and needy. My dear brothers and sisters, if you are by the means, grab the opportunity to dedicate some of your wealth or properties as waqf to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For indeed, you will have a perpetual reward. So even after your demise, your charity will continue and your reward will continue.
The first Waqf is said to be the Masjid Quba, which was built on land endowed by the Banu Najjar. When a person dies, all his or her deeds come to an end, except three: Sadaqah Jariyah, ongoing charity or Waqf, beneficial knowledge, and a pious child who prays for his or her deceased parents. The revelation of the verse, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ, none of you shall attain righteousness until you give of what you love, was the beginning of a revolution in the nascent community in Medina, where Ansar and Muhajirun shared and cared for each other without any precedent in human history. Several Sahaba followed by making waqfs of their best properties and assets in favor of their families, the poor, needy, destitute, the mujahideen, and the ummah. On the recommendation of the noble Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Umar ibn al-Khattab, a companion, made a historic waqf of his orchards in Khaybar, his best property, and today known as the first social development waqf in Islamic history. Other companions such as Abu Talha dedicated his orchards, and Uthman Ghani endowed the famous well in Medina. Over the centuries, the spirit of waqf making spread to every nook and corner of the Islamic world, from Andalusia and Morocco in the west to Indonesia and India in the east. Muslims, both men and women, both the elite and rank and file, endowed properties for mosques, schools, universities, hospitals, guest houses, homes for the destitute and frail, hospices, soup kitchens, research and scholars. What is waqf? A waqf is a voluntary Islamic charitable endowment purely for the pleasure of Allah. A waqf can be made through donating cash, property and or other assets. The income or usufruct from the waqf may be used for any Sharia compliant purpose.
In South Africa, the idea is to provide sustainable solutions and to empower communities. We have an opportunity to make a difference. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is providing us an opportunity to make a difference, and we need to take advantage of this. South Africa is at a tipping point. It has an opportunity to provide a great platform for Africa to grow. I think it is an opportunity that we cannot miss. So the key role for Awqaf is to provide sustainable solutions and that will reach the ultimate goal of alleviating the status of South Africa and spilling the success throughout Africa.
Awqaf South Africa set about with a vision to re-establish the divine institution of Waqf in Southern Africa and beyond, to popularize and develop the Waqf system, to create, mobilize, invest, manage and administer Waqf funds and assets, to initiate and utilize the income from Waqf investments towards worthwhile sustainable community development and poverty eradication projects and programs to benefit the poor, needy and designated beneficiaries. With its policies of cooperation and creating partnerships, Awqaf South Africa has since inception developed sound working relationships with several local and international organizations. Since its founding on the 27th of Ramadan 1421, with limited resources, Awqaf South Africa has initiated and funded through the generosity of its donors and volunteers several projects and programs.
We have a project that we've started about 3 years ago, providing tuition that will help upgrade literacy and mathematics skills in particularly disadvantaged communities. And this came as a result of issues related to the low levels of literacy, especially in disadvantaged communities. So we have a special program that is run at a school in Soweto, and hopefully that program will be expanded in time to come.
The Awqaf Foundation helps us a lot, and it came at a very correct time, at the right time, because we have a number of learners who are struggling with literacy and maths, and a number of them has improved so far.
We have another project that we're doing in partnership with the Islamic Medical Association. This is providing free cataract operations to very, very poor indigent people, particularly in the Johannesburg, Vereeniging areas. Those are major projects. We've also started a school greening project, sustainable development in schools. The latest project that we've been involved in is a mosque greening project, which is essentially a water-saving project that has been designed by young students. And we are supporting that project. Over and above that, over time, we've supported several other initiatives, including providing scholarships for programs or for studies that we believe that are needed within the Muslim community.
The spirit of volunteering and giving of skills, expertise and time helped to develop the organization. Today, many of those same people are still around giving of their time to ensure the success of Awqaf South Africa. Over the years, Awqaf South Africa has seen steady growth in its Waqf assets, currently standing at around 10 million rand. Clearly, this is not enough. We need to reach 100 million in the next 10 years, and then as a community into the billions as we go into the future. We also need to spread out and encourage families, institutions and local mosque-based communities or Jama'as to start developing their Waqf endowments with good corporate governance and best practices. Awqaf South Africa is ready to help in this regard.
Awqaf effectively is a dedication of an asset that we have where an individual or people, a group of people provide assets that gets invested for the benefit of humanity. In another way said, it is a diversion of resources away from consumption to investment, and the returns on that investment that we get is what get consumed for the benefit of the community. In the case of Awqaf South Africa, we have to ensure that we develop an investment portfolio that will allow us to finance the needs of the community. Doesn't just mean the needs of the Muslim community as such, but rather the needs of the entire community in South Africa that we can contribute towards that. The system of Awqaf and its investments then allows us to be self-reliant and independent from everybody else through the process of investment. In 50 years or 100 years from now, we should sit with the best investment portfolio in South Africa that will ensure communities are well developed, that will benefit the entire process and development of South Africa.
Our appeal is for the community to help us grow from the Waqf Fund. We need to grow from where we are a multi-billion rand community-based and community-owned institution. We see ourselves investing more in income-producing property, also involving both private investors and public investors, such as masjids and organizations.
Awqaf South Africa invites you, your families, your businesses, and every institution in South Africa to partner with us. We have a journey to undertake.